everyone, this is Tracer Pixel 128, and today I'm going to be turning my old gaming PC into a file server. Last time you saw this was back in August, when I took a look at this computer, around July, August time frame, when we took a look at this computer and I installed a copy of Fedora Linux on it. But now today I'm going to turn it into a file server. Here are the drives I'm going to be using for this project, starting with this 120 gigabyte Patriot branded drive that I pulled out of an old Zotac bare bones PC that we used as a router running a copy of pfSense. The computer overheated and died, but I salvaged a few parts of it. I took the RAM out of it and put it into my mid-2010 Mac Mini. And here is a SSD that's been in a couple of different systems. It was the SSD I replaced in my dad's old Asus R510C laptop after I took the 500 gigabyte and put it into my Mac Mini. And now I'm going to use this as the boot drive for this computer, because you don't really need a whole lot of space to be running when I'm going to run it. Think about running a version of Linux on it, particularly like a server version like Fedora server or Ubuntu server or something like that. And here are the hard drives I'm going to be using. The one on the left is a 2 terabyte Hitachi drive I pulled out of a slimline HP compact I worked on earlier this year. It did not belong to me, it belonged to a city. They needed it for something and I upgraded its hard drive to a 240 gig SSD running Windows 10. This had Windows 10 on it, but it's white and it's working. And then the one on the right is a 1 terabyte that I pulled out of an old Synology network attached storage unit. It was my dad's. The other one is in my HP Pro 3000 right there. So these are going to be the storage, and then this is going to be the boot drive. I'm going to put these into this computer, and I'll see you all in the next clip. What I have in here is a SSD mount that converts it from 3.5 inch to 2.5 inch to fit drives like this. This has been in here for years. It originally had this 1 terabyte Samsung drive in it that had Windows 10, but I'm going to put this in here like so. I can barely see it, but there we go. Just locked into place, and now the boot drive is in. I will install the other 2 drives shortly. After a bit of finagling, I got the drives in. As you can see right here, these are actually Torx screws that I got out of my HP Pro 3000 because I seem to have misplaced my container of screws. It's in one of the boxes here and I don't feel like grabbing it. So Torx screws it is. I need to find data cables for these. I got the power hooked up and I got the drive in. I'll probably do like a power on self test, but I don't have the data cables for these drives yet. But if this can turn on, it should be fine. Okay, I got the power hooked up. I don't have this thing connected to a monitor at the moment. But what I can do is in the words of UXW Bill, smoke test. Okay, that is a horrible sound. Okay, take 2. Smoke test. This thing is very loud. Video card. It's not going to boot into anything because all these drives are wiped. May need to look into replacing the fans soon, but as of right now, it works. I call this a success. Here's the computer all hooked up, and what I have right here is a thumb drive containing a copy of Ubuntu on it. I think it's 22.04, which is the latest LTS release as of the making this video. I know I run it a lot on this channel, but it's my personal go-to Linux distro, and it's never really given me any trouble. So I'm going to plug it in and turn this thing on. Okay. Alright. Let's go into the boot menu. Boot into thumb drive. I'll do safe graphics since I don't have the proper graphics driver installed on this thing yet. I apologize for it being loud. Just a whack on the top and I'll probably keep it. From being loud, but probably may need to replace the fans in this thing one day. There it is, it's booted onto the desktop. I'm going to install it. I'm going to install the third-party software and normal installation. This shouldn't take too long. It's preparing the drivers right now. Again, I apologize for the loud fans in this thing. This thing's 9 years old. It's been through a lot. Okay, now it's telling me I'm going to erase the disk and install Ubuntu. So I'm going to use the 120 gigabyte SSD that's in this thing as the boot drive. And I'm going to install now on this drive. I love how easy and straightforward the installation is. And just do New York. I'm going to type in a name. And I'll type in a password. There we go. Now it's almost finished copying the files. And what I like to do is I like to click on this drop down here and see all the details where it's picking up the files and downloading them straight off their servers. And I think that's actually pretty cool. I love seeing the little details like that. I am such a nerd. And the reason why it's taking so fast, because I'm loading this on an SSD, as well as off of a thumb drive and not off a DVD. Basically it just shows like all the software that comes preloaded and stuff that you can install. I might try the next LTS release, but I think I'll probably stick with this one for now for my file server. There are other distros I could use. I could try Debian. I could even try like a Red Hat based distro like Fedora. But I'm just going to use Ubuntu with Samba enabled. And in the next part, I'm going to set up Samba and have this thing running after the installation is complete. Okay, the installation is complete, and now let's reboot. And bump into the tripod. Well, that's productive. I'm going to remove the thumb drive on the computer and press enter. I keep forgetting. Well, that's interesting. It has like the logo for the motherboard on here. I never realized that before. The system did have Ubuntu installed once before. It was years ago when I first got it. I didn't realize that the graphics card on this thing, what was in it originally, which was a AMD Radeon R9 280X manufactured by XFX. It didn't occur to me that XFX graphics cards of that particular generation did not play too kindly with operating systems other than Windows. I found out about this on a Hackintosh forum when someone was trying to make a Hackintosh out of a computer that had a similar graphics card. They didn't realize either that they had the same problem I had, except I was trying to load Ubuntu on it. But now I have a different graphics card in here. I have a NVIDIA GeForce, I think it's a 750 Ti in here, a GTX 750 Ti. I'd have to look into it again, but I know it's a lower end NVIDIA card manufactured by EVGA when they used to manufacture NVIDIA's cards. But they stopped. I think they pulled out of the graphics card market entirely. Anyways, I'm going to, enough of my rambling. Let's log in and see what happens. Here's the desktop, and now it wants me to connect my online accounts, which you can either do like the Ubuntu single sign-on, which I find it interesting how Ubuntu 1 technically still exists, but it's the accounts, and it's mostly their web forms that have it. You can also sign into your Google account, Nextcloud, if you want to use this as kind of like a NAS, or your Microsoft account. Ubuntu Pro, not interested. No, not interested in that either. And ready to go. Here's like all the apps you can load on here, but I'm only going to load Samba on this thing. I'm not going to use this for like video editing or anything like that. That's what I have my main computer there for. But this can be used to store the files over the internet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to Windows, and I'll update later. Switch back to my main desktop, and I'm going to load Samba from there. Or at least the directions on how to install Samba. I changed the setup a little bit and set up this 19.5-inch Acer monitor that was manufactured in 2014 that was given to me by my cousin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this picture of Uzume that I typically use my wallpaper. You've seen it in my videos. Go to Samba Share, paste. Now I'm going to turn over to this computer. Go to the Samba Share folder, and there you go. Just copied a picture from my main computer to this one. I hope you all enjoy this video, and more videos will be coming soon, so stay tuned and feel free to leave a comment if you have one.